Sounds like the Louisiana legislature. The Louisiana legislature is even worse. Louisiana is the most fucked up of the states. It is by far and away the most fucked up because of how they write their laws. Because of how they write their laws, they're the most fucked up. Okay, here's the problem, all right? Here's the problem. Louisiana is not common law like the rest of the country. Like the rest of the country gained its legal tradition from England and it's common law. This I understand. Louisiana over here, of course, got its legal tradition from the French because it's Louisiana. You know, France bought the land from France. Louisiana Purchase. Anybody? Bueller? Yeah. Okay, so what is the difference between civil and common law? Good question. The principal difference between civil and common law is that binding precedent isn't really a thing in the civil law system. Okay? So in the common law system, we have binding precedent. That is, when a court rules on an issue, right? When they rule on that issue, when they reach a legal determination, that's precedent now. And if it's from a court above you, it's binding precedent, right? So I have to go do that thing now, right? So the law builds on itself from case after case and clarifies itself from case after case, which is good, for example, for me as a lawyer, because it makes it much more easy in many circumstances for me to give you better legal advice, right? Because I just don't have the statute. I've got precedent. And depending on what we're talking about, I got hundreds of years of precedent. Depending on what we're talking about, I might have longer than that, right? Because this has been building on itself for a little while now, right? So depending on what we're talking about, I might be citing cases from the 11th century. I'm like, well, I can give you a pretty damn good idea of what it is. I got 900 years of case law. Where do you want to start, right? This is very good for me as a lawyer giving legal advice because the case law builds on itself and it raises, and fewer questions emerge, right? As issues get resolved by the courts, fewer and fewer issues remain. And eventually there basically are no issues left. And it's just application of the law. This is great. Louisiana and the civil law system, in its infinite wisdom, has decided, hey, what if we just, don't do that? What if we didn't have precedent? What if every time judges interpret our laws, what if every time they read it, it's like the first time anyone's ever read it ever? What if we just go with what the legislature wrote, and every time we have to interpret it anew? And judges might be able to go look at what other courts have done, but they're not binding, as I mentioned. So the judge can kind of just do anything. Then it gets even worse. It gets even worse because, oh Lord have mercy, because Louisiana, again, in its infinite wisdom, because of these problems that I just mentioned just now, the easiest solution to this problem would be, hey, you know what? What if we weren't a civil law system anymore? What if we were a common law system? That would be the easiest solution to the problem. But no. We can't do that because we're very French and very proud. So we can't do that. So what if we amended the Constitution for literally everything? What if our Constitution wasn't, basically 4 pages scrawled out on the back of a napkin, which is essentially the federal Constitution? What if instead, hear me out. What if instead of like overarching ideas and broad principles and establishing the branches of government, what if it specified everything in amazing pinpoint detail? What, those problems about water reclamation we're having? What if we put that into the Constitution? I think it's like 230,000 words. It's ridiculous. So yeah, these are some of the problems of Louisiana. Its legal system. I think the rest of the country just cumulatively looks at Louisiana and be like, oh, really? And then also, just to make even life more fun, Louisiana apparently doesn't like to do things the rest of the country does, just because it wants to be different. Like, for example, in the sale of goods, there's something called the Uniform Commercial Code. Mm-hmm. The Uniform Commercial Code deals with the sale of goods. The sale of goods, the law regarding sales of goods is controlled by state law, right? What is a purchase? What is a purchase? What kind of protections are there at law, right? Are there any kind of warranties provided by law, right? What if you order something and you didn't get what you ordered? What do you do then? What if something unsolicited arrives at the door? What happens then, right? These are good questions. These are very good questions. And these are all issues of state law. So in the long, long ago, in the far, far away, all the states had their own individual law dealing with this. And, that's fine because they can. And, but it was a little inconvenient, especially as national sales became more and more of a thing, right? As catalogs for like the average home user, like Sears, became more a thing. As people were ordering more stuff from telephone, as people were ordering more things through the mail, instead of just going to their local store, right? In the long, long ago, in the far, far away, if you wanted to buy something, you bought it from the local store. Circa 1950, people start doing things other than that. And this becomes a bit of a problem. Because now suddenly we have sales going across different state lines, and we have different states with different rules. And this is a little annoying. This is a little annoying for everyone. Okay? So someone got together and said, what if instead of every state having different rules, what if instead they all had the same rules? And then, that'd be great. And then all the states would have the same rules, and it'd be fantastic. Hooray. So somebody wrote the Uniform Commercial Code. Incidentally, they've written other uniform codes. The Uniform Commercial Code isn't the only uniform code. It's the one that's been the most widely adopted, but it's not the only one. But it's the one that took off, right? It's the one in which state after state after state said, yes, let's pass a law. Let's pass a law and says, you know what? All our state law on the sale of goods is bullshit. All of our state law on the sale of goods is bullshit. What if instead of all the state law we've ever had, what if instead of that, we had this new thing, this Uniform Commercial Code? And what if we had that? That'd be great. And so state after state said, yes, I'd like to abolish all my law. All my law sucks ass. I'd like to establish the Uniform Commercial Code. And guess what state said, nah, we're good? Guess what state said, nah, we're good? We like our law we like the law we had before. We don't need that's taken UCC too. We don't need to adopt the thing that 49 other states have adopted. We don't need to have the uniformity. We're good. We like our own law. Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. That'd be great. And then Stephanie points out, yeah, this is also the same state. This is all because they have drive-through alcohol bars in Louisiana. You can get to go pre-made drinks in Louisiana. You can get in your car and you can go to a drive-through bar and you can order a margarita and they'll give it to you mixed in a cup like a drink for your car. Now, Louisiana, of course, being master of its own law, doesn't have to have drunk driving laws. I mean, they could say, how about not the drunk driving laws? We like it when people drive drunk. They didn't go that route, fortunately. They didn't go with the we like drunk driving route. So that's good. They could also go with how about we just don't have open container law? It's totally fine if you have an open beer in your car. That's fine. That's cool. You can't drink from it because we don't like the drunk driving. But if you have an open container of alcohol in your car, that's totally cool with us. That would have been an option. Louisiana didn't go with that option. Louisiana said, we don't really like the drunk driving, and we don't really like it when people drink or have an open container in their car. We're not really huge fans of that. But we also like the drive-through bars where you can order the margarita in a cup that will fit in your cup holder. So how do we solve this twin problem? And the state of Louisiana, in its infinite wisdom, said, you know how we can solve that problem? What if, when they give you the drink with a straw in it, and hear me out, what if we put a sticker over the top of the straw? Then it won't be an open container, you see, because of the sticker. Okay. Yeah, that was Louisiana's solution to that interesting dilemma. Yeah. What if we just put a sticker on the straw hole? Yeah. Louisiana does have open container laws. I didn't say they didn't. I in fact very specifically said they didn't. Louisiana does have open container laws. That is true. I didn't say otherwise. That would have been an option. What if we just don't have the open container laws? That would have been great. But they didn't go with that choice. They went with what about the sticker? And we can have our drive-through bars. Okay. That's fine. Okay. Yeah, it's fine.